Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Sri Krishna has been teaching Arjuna the different and way the Lord is prayed to. He's talking about Nirguna Nirakara, Saguna Nirakara, and Saguna Sakara. Among these three, he had picked up Saguna Nirakara for describing. And for the Saguna Nirakara form of the Lord, he says there are few characteristics and he's speaking about them. He talked about Kavi, and then he talked about Anushashita. Then he also spoke about Anoraniya. Then I think he spoke about Sarvadhara. I think that's where we were. The Lord is the Adhara for everything, the support, and the entire creation is Adeya, which depends on the Adhara. I think that's what we were discussing. So I will stop here and I will ask Sister Kalyani to continue from where we left off.
Sairam uncle, I just had a question about this paragraph in Telugu. Could I just ask?
Sure. Which one, Anuranyan?
The Anushashita?
Okay.
There's a sentence that says Lokamuna I Shasanamu Chesinanu.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay, what about Anushashita? So here, Lokamana E Sashadamu Chesinanu Adi Bahya Sambandhamainadi Kani Paramatmuni Sashadamu Attidi Kadu. Is that the one?
That's the one.
Yeah, so what Swami is telling is, in this world, Lokamana means in this world, E Shashanamu Chesinanu. Whatever rules are laid down, okay, whatever is declared as something to be followed, Adi, that Bahya Sambandhamainadi Kani, it is related to the external world. Paramatmuni Sasanamu Attidi Kada. The laws laid down by the Lord are not those related to the external world. At least what is being discussed here.
Oh.
Okay. So the thing is, all of us know about, generally Sasana means law. So whatever laws which are laid down in the world, what we see, all relate to the external life, external world.
Okay.
Swami is saying this Sasana which is being spoken about doesn't relate to the external world.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes on to say that it relates to the internal world.
Okay.
Then he says Antaryamiyai Sasinchino. So he lays down the laws as an indweller of us, indweller. Okay, from within the laws are laid down. That's what Swami says.
And can you do the next sentence also?
Okay, so then he says Manassunu Kanipatti Sasi Anaga Manassunu Kanipatti Sachinchana Vadu. So the Lord looks at the mind. He takes that into consideration and establishes the law. Okay. Because in the external world, we look at only natural phenomena related to the 5 elements. But the Sasana which Swami is talking about this is the Lord lays down based on considering what the mind is. And he lays down certain laws, means which have to be followed. It's like, laws being laid down. Okay, just like, a king or, ruler would lay down laws. The Lord, as an indweller, he establishes these laws.
Does that mean then like the laws are different for every person?
No. No, it's Manasunu means not Manas as a general entity, as an internal world, so it's internal. Manas, mind is nothing but the internal world. Antar, Bahi means outside, Antar means inside. Inside everything is mind, which we can explain. That's my understanding. So it is not each person's mind, no.
Okay.
The laws are generally universal in nature, is my understanding.
And then, but so when we talk about like achara dharma and stuff, those are relating to the external world, but aren't those also like laid down by God?
Yeah, but I think what Swami is talking about is what the Lord establishes from within as an anushasita. See, we should understand, Swami is talking about saguna nirakara. The entire world is all akara. Okay, so he's just focusing on saguna nirakara. And then, if you go into the philosophy part, the external world doesn't exist other than the mind. Okay, what you see, your existence is all internal also, you see. So even if you think externally, this is the law, that law is also in the mind only. If you say, so something will fall down means it is falling down in your mind. Because after all, you have to perceive everything, is it? So I think from that side also you can take.
And then the last sentence, I think it's the following sentence, that Sarvatantra Swatantrudu.
So Sarvatantra Swatantrudu.
What does that mean?
Swatantra means one who is only dependent on oneself. Okay. Sarvatantra means everything.
The video and the voice.
So Sarvatantra means everything depends on him. Everything else depends on him. And he depends on himself. See, this the word, we use the word independent. Okay, that means we are only dependent on ourselves. We are not dependent on others. Swatantra means independent. Okay, so everything in this world depends on him, and he depends on himself only.
Okay.
That's the name. Sarvatantra, Swatantra.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. We'll go on.
The sixth two I shall make clear to you, achintya rupam, with an unpicturable form, a form that cannot be delineated or imagined. For he is beyond the reach of the mind, and it is the mind that pictures, delineates, or imagines. So his rupam or form is achintya, or incapable of being imagined by the mind. You might hesitate to accept this, but the mind is matter. It is inert, it is fleeting, but Brahman or Paramatma is pure consciousness. It is eternal, everlasting, imperishable. It and mind are at opposite poles, the fleeting and the fixed. They are totally unrelated. One dies, the other remains. The inert and the active are unrelated. The question may arise in your mind, what then is the sadhaka to do? Oh, he is not deprived of hope. Let him picture the Paramatma as unpicturable. That is enough. Dwell on such thoughts as this, and the fruit will be vouchsafed unto you. The sadhaka must first learn the channels along which his thoughts should run. At this, Arjuna pleaded with Krishna thus, Lord, let us proceed. Time is running fast. We cannot be stationary in this battlefield without assuming responsibility or making a decision. War is facing us with open jaws, ready to swallow and overwhelm. I am ready to obey the instruction you may be pleased to give me. Only let there be no delay. Hence, quickly enlighten me about the seventh attribute of the Saguna Nirakara, God with qualities but without form.
Okay, thank you. So now Swami is dwelling on the Achintya Rupam as the sixth characteristics. And I think it's pretty simple. I am not going to repeat what Swami has said. I think all of us can read. If whoever wants to share anything, please do so.
Can we go through the Telugu?
Okay, that's fine. Today auntie is not there, so I may have to double up unless Sai Satish, you want to attempt to.
It's better you do it rather than me. Siren.
Okay. Ika. Okay, so
I have a question.
yes. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, Aravati.
I have a question.
Yes, auntie.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes. This is Shivam speaking.
yes.
I am joining this the second class. Can you please tell me how this is different from Bhagavad Gita?
It's Bhagavad Gita only.
Huh?
We are discussing Bhagavad Gita only, auntie.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Right. So, Aravadi Telipedanu Vinumu says, I will explain to you the sixth one. Listen. Achintya Rupudu Anaga Chintimpa Vilukani Vadu Ani Arthamu. Chintimpa Vilukani Vadu Ani Arthamu. So that means Achintya Rupam means his form cannot be pictured or thought of, we cannot understand with our mind. Chintinchedi yedi manassu kada kanuka manasuto chintimpa veelu kanidani arthamu. See, what we used to think, it is mind, isn't it? So with this mind, you cannot think about this. You cannot understand or picture it with your mind. Petlani niku samsyamu kalugavachunu. You may get a doubt how this is so. Baba Vinu, my brother-in-law, listen. Manasu kshanikam. The mind is fleeting. Ante kadu jadamu. Not only that, it is inert. Paramatmudu chutama nitya vastu. If you consider Paramatman, he is a permanent subject or thing, permanent vastu. Okay, permanent thing. Chaitanyudu kudanu. He is also Chaitanya means he is with consciousness. Pardon?
Effulgence, sir.
Chaitanya means who has chit,
Yes. Okay.
sentient. He is a
Okay.
sentient, something. He is chit, the ability to perceive, be aware, Chaitanya, or something like that. life. ఇవి విచారించిన ఒకదానికొకటి పూర్తి విరుద్ధము. If you inquire, these are completely different from each other. క్షణికం నిత్యత్వం ఒకదానికొకటి సంబంధము లేదు. If you take something which is fleeting and that which is fixed, there is absolutely no relationship between them. ఒకటి ఉండునది మరొకటిది లేనిది. One thing which exists, the other one doesn't. ఇక జడము చైతన్యము. Here one is inert, the other one is sentient. అవి అంతే, that's all. ఒకదానికొకటి పొందిక లేవు. You cannot attain from one to the other. You cannot you cannot obtain one from the other. అలాంటి జడము క్షణికము, that kind of inert అలాంటి క్షణికము, that which is inert is fleeting. ఆయన మనస్సు నిత్యము, but mind is actually permanent. చైతన్యము ఆయన పరమాత్ముని ఎట్లు చింతింపగలదు? How can ఆయన మనస్సు, I mistook. ఆయన మనస్సు, so mind, నిత్యము చైతన్యము ఆయన పరమాత్మని ఎట్లు చింతింపగలదు? How can the mind perceive the Paramatman who is permanent and who is sentient, who is conscious?
Infinite.
అట్లైన సాధకుని గతేమిరి అని నీవు అడగవచ్చు. So you may ask, so then what's the lot of the sadhaka? What can he do? వానికి గతి లేకపోలేదు. For him there is there's no situation of him not having any means. బావా పరమాత్ముని అచింత్య రూపుడని చింతించిన చాలును. Oh brother-in-law, if you think and know that Paramatma, it cannot be pictured in your mind, that's enough. తప్పక వానికి గతి కలుగును. Without fail, he will attain the goal. చింతించవలసిన మార్గమున చింతించిన రావలసిన మార్గమున ఫలితము వచ్చి తీరును. You should think the way you can think, and what has to be the fruits or the results will come on their own accord, according to the path which is laid down. కాన చింతించవలసిన విధమును కూడను మొదట సాధకుడు తెలిసి కొనవలను. But the sadhaka should understand how to think beforehand. అనిన శ్రీకృష్ణుని మాటలు విని అర్జునుడు, సరి స్వామి ముందుకు నడుచుదాము, కాలము సమీపించుచున్నది, మనము ఏ బాధ్యత లేక యుద్ధ భూమిని నిలువలేదు కదా. So Arjuna is telling Swami, we have to go forward because time is nearing for the war, and we cannot remain in this war grounds permanently without moving. ముందుకు ముంచుకు వచ్చున్నది మన పాలితికి యుద్ధము. What is awaiting us is the war. నీవి త్వరగా ఏమి ఆజ్ఞ ఇట్టువో ఆ రీతిగా చేయుటకు సిద్ధముగా ఉన్నాను. So whatever you are asking me to do, whatever you command, I am ready to do what you say. కాన మిగిలిన ఏడవదాని గురించి తెలుపుదు అని అడిగాను. So Arjuna is saying, because we have to go to war quickly, please explain to me the 7th item also. Okay, so I will stop. Anyone who would like to?
What is the language you are speaking now? You read this in what language?
Read it in Telugu, Aunty.
Oh, Telugu. Okay, thank you.
Uncle, can you just explain that sentence? You should think the way you can think, and the fruits will come on their own accord.
See, Swami says the mind should function the way it has been asked to think.
Okay.
Okay, don't even doubt that you will not get the result. So in this case, Krishna is saying, the mind should think, I cannot picture the Lord. That thought itself is enough for the mind, and that's what the mind should be trained to think. The Lord will come the way he has to come, and you will reach the goal. Okay, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but because he's saying in the previous sentences, with this mind, we can't see the Lord.
Yes.
Because we have to go into another denomination.
Yes.
To really to feel the presence of Paramatma.
Yes, sir.
So that is what he's saying in one or two sentences. Because the mind belongs to the body. The mind is not a separate entity by itself. It belongs to the body, and as the body is left, then the mind also goes there. But the thoughts and other impressions that we have gathered will go into the next birth. So in that way, we carry whatever karma we do here to the next birth. So to see Paramatma, we can't see with these 5 senses which we have in the body. We have to go to another denomination. That is what I understand.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything?
I don't know.
Yes, Auntie.
The sadhaka must first learn the channels along which his thoughts should run. Can you explain that, please? In a simple way.
Okay. Anyone else would like to share? When Swami is saying, so the sadhaka should learn how to think. So
What is sadhaka?
sadhaka is the aspirant, Auntie.
Aspirant, okay.
Yes, Sister Shivani, I think you want to
I was
say.
just thinking when you were translating, I don't think so that translation was there. If I missed, no,
In English,
were-
you say?
no, in Telugu when you were doing, I didn't see that was translated, so I don't know it was there.
Which one, Sister?
The one Auntie asked about the channel along which the thoughts runs.
No,
Sadhaka.
It is there.
it is. Actually, I had read it, but I don't know in English.
What
Question
is
is,
that?
let him dwell on such thoughts that this sadhaka. See, the sadhaka must first learn the channels along which his thought should run. I think that's that's what is in English. In Telugu, Swami says, see, he's saying, కాన చింతించవలసిన విధమును కూడను మొదట సాధకుడు తెలుసుకోన వలను. So he needs to know how to let his mind, the path in which the mind should run. That should be learned by the sadhaka. So I think that's why Auntie Sakku is asking, so what is the channel? How should the mind run? I think that's the question. Because in this case, Swami is talking about achintya rupam. So the mind cannot even picture the Lord. When the mind cannot picture the Lord, what should the mind do? And Swami says the mind should just know and understand that it cannot fathom the Lord with its thoughts. And then Swami makes a statement later on. The mind, we should first know how the mind should be channeled. And so I think Sakku is asking, so what should we do? See, the mind should be keeping on repeating, I cannot imagine, I cannot imagine. Also, what should it do? I think that's Auntie's question. Because Swami says first we should learn. So if Swami has not told how to do that, so then what are we to do? How are we to learn? I think that's the question Auntie Sakku has. So if anyone would like to share your thoughts, please.
Yeah, what I feel is that the mind functions on 5 senses. So when the mind is functioning on 5 senses, and if we don't control the 5 senses to think in a different channel in order to attain Paramatma, then it is not going to work. That is what I understand. By the channeling of the mind towards a different direction from the 5 senses we are used to. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add anything?
So, sir, brother. So, yeah, according to this one, so Auntie, whatever said is correct. The 5 senses are given the purpose of understanding and merge with the God. So, mind is the main key. So, you have the mind supposed to use the 5 senses to achieve the goal. So, you have to train, you have to practice the mind. Thank you.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam. Go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead, brother.
Yeah, after you, sister. No problem.
No, you go ahead. I think I will love to listen to you. Go ahead.
Just trying to go along a train of thought whereas it's achintya rupam. So in the context of having the mind open, because when the mind accepts that that is something beyond its ken and understanding, then that kind of acceptance gives complete surrender, and it opens up complete set of like an infinite possibilities. So let us say we have a particular, now we have the form of Bhagawan as our God. So automatically the mind immediately puts Bhagawan as God, and then maybe it stops putting everybody else as God because it now perceives only Bhagawan as God. But if it goes beyond the ken and understanding of the mind, that limitation doesn't exist, then it would open up the possibility of what Bhagavan says, not only am I God, but everybody is God. So the limitations that come with the mind, once the mind accepts that it is going to a realm where it has to understand that there are limitations, then acceptance comes, surrender comes, and with that surrender, what we call like complete devotion, faith, all of those kind of things could come in, which opens up limitless possibilities in that way. There are several other instances where, or experiences where, like Swami has told a couple that he would visit their home that day, and so when they go back to their home, right from the beginning, the experience goes right from the morning, they have different people coming and they don't know in which form Swami will come. So they treat everybody coming to the home that day as Swami and giving them with food with all of that, and at the end they end up realizing that between them, the husband and wife, when they have to go out and come back, one of them goes out and comes back, so they don't know if Swami has come in that form. So they treat one another also as God, and ultimately when they go back to Parthi, Swami narrates the whole of the things, and he says, yes, all of them are me. So if we can go to that possibility, I'm just trying to go where the complete acceptance comes, and that is the really achintya thing, where we go to like a Vishwarupa, where everybody becomes part of that whole. Saira.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Yes, Sister Shivani, please.
I'm just basing on what we have learned in the past. You know how the eyes are seeing, how it's not through the eyes we are seeing. It's what is that? I think if I'm not using the wrong word, Jivyatma, right? How we are seeing, how we are talking is through that channel. That is Atma. So I'm thinking here, Bhagawan is saying, don't think of me from your mind, because you will always look something. Start seeing me from Jivatma, that Atma. If you start seeing me, then it will be much easier. There's no form. So I think we have to keep repeating ourselves. I'm not going to, don't use your brain to understand me or see me, but use from the channel, which is the primary source. I don't know, does it make sense?
Okay, thank you, sister.
But I have a question in this. How to see with the Atma?
Sister Shivani.
That's what we have to figure out. We have to figure that out.
Shivam is asking that question.
Yeah, very good question. She's asking. So how is the Atma, how to see through the Atma? I think that's the question.
Yes.
So that's a question for you, Brother Arun.
So,
When we can't see Atma, how can we see through Atma?
so Sairam brother. So Swami explained very well. In Tamil we say Anuvukkul Anuvai Iruppavan. So you cannot see. You can imagine only.
But you can't even imagine, brother, here.
And he's a Vishwarupa. He's everywhere. So Atma, you just imagine, but he's saying you cannot imagine through the mind. Then just focus whatever you think. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, brother. So
this shows I can only talk, right?
no, we're all trying to figure out, sister. So our mind is trying to figure out. I think that's the challenge. But I think based on whatever we have heard, but the mind doesn't have a place to go. The thing is, Swami, Achintya Rupa means the mind cannot get anywhere. Now and then Swami is saying, figure out how, first you should know how the mind should function. So I think that's where we are stuck. So which is the channel? And the way I understand this based on what I think one thing which Sai Satish said was, don't have any expectation, expect everything to be divine. Anything the mind perceives, see it as divine. I think that's one way to see the Vishwarupa Darshana. Because to have that, mind should not have a preconceived idea as to this is the way God is. It should not have. It should have it's like a child, a child, we have all grown up. I think that's where our problem. Because when a child asks something, the child will go to the bank and, the bank machine gives money. And the child will ask, how did this money come out? And the parents will try to explain this and that. The child cannot understand. Then they will say, you don't need to know how the money comes. Just take what comes out. Okay. So the child settles for it, thinking that one day it will find out what the story is. Until then, it will wait patiently, knowing very well I don't understand it today, because it doesn't have the knowledge of how money is deposited, how the money is fed by somebody into the machine, what do you punch in? We put a card. What is the technique, mechanics? Nothing she understands. But the children, they will say, okay, I will wait till I learn it. But until then, the child knows this thing gives me money, but I don't know how it happens. The child even doesn't know, what does the note look like also doesn't know. So I think we should have that kind of open mind, and the mind should know, realize that it cannot know everything. It cannot
that is true.
understand everything. Once the
Yes.
mind knows that, the mind should keep quiet, just the way we ask the child, now you keep quiet, you can't understand, just wait. When you grow up, you will know, then the child has to, we were like that also, we have also dealt with this problem before, but now we have forgotten about it. But now Swami is telling the same thing, the mind cannot know. So I think it is standing in front of an empty door, and we don't know when the door opens, how God is going to come, how he is going to look, we really don't know. So it's a state of expectation, but with I can remember, in Parthi, every day for darshan, we will all wait. We don't know what robe Swami is going to wear, how he is going to come out, what he is going to tell, but we will all look at the closed door, knowing very well there is the divine behind it, and the divine is going to come. Okay, so you have to be silent, you have to be disciplined, you are with expectation and with anxious excitement. You are just looking at and it's quiet. So I think that's all mind has to do. So Swami has told the mind should not run outside through the senses. It should come, it should sit in front of that door through which the Atma is going to reveal itself, knowing very well it cannot ever imagine how it's going to look, and with a sense of expectation, it has to wait. That is why I understood. And whenever door comes, whoever comes, whether it's your husband who went out and came, you should say, okay, he is also Narayana Atman, Paramatman. Anyone, a dog comes, you say that's also Paramatman. Cat comes, that's also Paramatman. I think that's what Sai Satish said. So that's what I have figured out. Others can share anything else you like.
Sairam, I don't know. Is it like for Arunagirinathar, Lord Subramania said, Valadu Summa Iru. Is it what we have to do? Nothing. Nothing is there. No expectation. Nothing. No thoughts also. Is it so?
Yes.
Sairam Arun.
Yes,
Sairam.
Auntie. Kamala Auntie, Sairam.
See, when we go for a Narayan Seva, we don't expect anything. We just serve. Whoever comes, we serve, because we see every one of them has a Swami in them. Correct?
Yes, Auntie.
So that's what we usually do. And then Vishwarupam, we talk about Vishwarupam. Sai Satish said, like, everyone has a God in them. See what happened one time in Puttaparthi. So Swami said, tomorrow I'll show you the Vishwarupam. I hope you remember that. So everybody gathered in close to where airport or somewhere, and Swami come out, and then, where is the Vishwarupam? You're all Vishwarupas. That's what he said, right? So I thought I'll share with you. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sairam, brothers and sisters, I listened to all of the discussion you have wrote in. In my point of view, how to see Atma, Swami clearly mentioned in the other Vahinis and also in the previous chapter, as long as if we want to see the Atma in others, first our inner mirror should be clear. If it carries the dark patches and those things, certainly we cannot see, even though if we know them theoretically, they are Atma, not individual. Everybody has divinity in themselves, but when we clear our mind, that's the inner mirror, it's cleared, then only we can really see the Atma. And Swami beautifully explained, we cannot really see the Atma with our visual, the imagination or mind. That only can be experienced. That's what we have already learned. This one cannot see through our physical eyes or the mental eyes. We can only experience the bliss. From that experience only we can see the Atma. And I agree, the Brother Sai Sadish beautifully explained, every single person is the divinity, and he has given a beautiful example. That's the way I look at it. The sadhakas must first learn the channels along which his thoughts should run. That's why even I learned that when we start the meditation, we have to go along with our minds or the thoughts, where it goes, to see. Then gradually we have to learn channelize, uh, in the good side, we have to watch our thoughts and the words, and then we have to channelize. So that's what I understood. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much.
Sairam, uncle.
Yes.
Like when we think of like if I think of who am I, like I can only think of myself through the mind. Like anything that I experience through the mind. So when you say that like God cannot be seen or experienced through the mind, that means at that point when we do finally have that, that enlightenment, or we see Atma, that means that whatever I think I am, I won't even be there at that point. Like what I think I am, I will never be able to experience God. So it's like that. So when you, like the darshan you were saying behind the door, it's like when Swami finally opens the door, it's like you disappear. And like, it's like, I'll never be able to actually have that vision of God, is it?
Very good question, Kalyani. Anyone would like to share? See, I think Kalyani's question is, we perceive only through our mind, and if the mind cannot perceive, and if it ceases to exist, then how do we experience? When the Lord comes and we experience, and we are not going to experience as I am today.
We cannot. Can you
Yes,
add something to it? With our material body and mind, how did this body come about? When we were born like this. We were never born like this. We eat food, and the food makes us to grow. So this body belongs to the earth. So along with the body, the mind, and the five senses. That is how we are able to perceive the world, the five senses. If we don't have eyes, we can't even see the world. If we don't have the hearing or capacity, we can't hear what others say. So even in the world, to exist, we need the five senses. But we don't need the five senses to go to another dimension, to experience. That is not seeing. We don't see Atma, but what we feel Atma, like feeling the bliss when we get rid of all the garbage. The bliss also we can't just say in word, bliss. Bliss is something we have to experience. So that experience and knowledge will only come when we go through this denomination to another denomination. That is what we all are walking the path in reading all these scriptures and purifying ourselves. That is what I understand. Sairam.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Sairam.
Yes, uncle. Please go ahead.
The previous question that was asked, we know many devotees have in their own way pray to different gods, and they had visual experiences of the god that they want to see. That's a fact. Swami has shown to them in different forms, and we are all experiencing divinity, but most of the time we don't know about it, but it's always there. So there's no question of not experiencing. We are all having experiences, but we are not aware of it. That's
Thank you. Very
So,
nice.
there are so many things to discuss here.
So, Sairam brother, so if you want to see God, that means in the air you cannot see it, you can feel it, you can experience it. Same thing, if you take a ghee is in the milk, you cannot see it. You have to do sadhana, you have to focus on that one. With the sadhana, only you can get the ghee. Same thing, with the sadhana, with the mind, using the senses, you can able to experience the God. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much.
Sairamana.
Yes, sorry.
And now with regard to Sister Kalyani's question, there's one photograph of Bhagawan, if we would have seen, it'll be Swami looking at Swami. There's one photograph, I'm not sure if everybody has seen it. That was once created by Swami in interview room, where he was, of course, telling about when it is ultimately that jnana comes, it is no longer an individual or a devotee looking at Bhagwan, but it is Bhagwan looking at Bhagwan. So like what sister was saying, at that point where the mind ceases to exist, then it is nothing but the inner self that is completely resplendent, because whatever we call it, earlier we were discussing in other places also about Mala, Vikshepa, now all of those things have fallen, and what is the resplendent self is all effulgent in its thing. So it'll be, at that point in time, it'll be Swami looking at Swami. That's what it'll end up showing up as, because the smaller I is no longer there, and it's just the capital I that is all radiant. So it'll be just that experience of this. So the individual self is no longer, because the moment we start describing it at the level of the mind, that means we are using the senses, we are using our cognition, and anything that is used to cognize something that is beyond what is cognition, what is the ken and understanding of the mind, that means we are not telling what is the absolute, we are telling something that is different from the absolute. That's why Swami is also saying, how can the jada, the inert, look at the one that is permanent and explain that which is permanent. So I'm on a moving platform, whereas I'm looking at the other end, which is stable, and trying to describe that, but I'm already in motion. So that can never be the scenario when I have the mind, but when the mind drops, nothing of that stays. So it is Bhagwan looking at Bhagwan. That's it.
Thank you, Sai Satish. So I think that, see, one of the things which we don't realize is actually every day we experience something like this. When we experience is when we go to sleep. If we go to sleep, the mind is fully not present. We know there is something called sleep, but actually the mind cannot describe what is sleep. When you wake up from the sleep, you know I slept. But during the sleep, does the mind know that it's experiencing sleep? Can it picture what is the experience during sleep? The mind cannot picture. And as to when we lie down on our bed, if you think, oh, I am sleeping, means the reality is we are not sleeping. Okay. When the mind is fully at rest and we are asleep, the mind doesn't know. It knows before the fact and it knows after the fact. and it doesn't know what is sleep. What is the experience of sleep? It does not know. Only thing, when somebody is sleeping, we know that the person has eyes closed and the person is lying down. But we really don't know whether that person is sleeping. Okay. If you try to see whether that person is sleeping, the moment he's awake, then he's not sleeping. So sleep is a phenomenon which the mind is incapable of understanding. But one thing we know, when the mind is at rest, we'll go to sleep. If the mind is agitated, we will not go to sleep. As soon as I'm not sleeping, how do I get the sleep? Means sleep will never come. So achintya rupam is also like that. So in Upanishadic parlance, they use a concept called neti. As soon as mind perceives something, they will say it is not na eti. It is not Paramatma. So if the mind, as soon as it catches something, it's not Paramatma. At the most, what it can perceive is what's called upadhi, something which is closer to God. That's all the mind can perceive. So actually, it is a fact. So as Auntie Sakku has already told, just stay still, just summa iru, and that's all the mind has to do. And once it learns that, then the Atmic experience is possible. But as Uncle Gopalan said, all of us have had experience, but we forget and we are not aware that we are having that experience. Especially, so for example, we are waiting for Swami's door to open, Swami come out. As soon as Swami come out, we see there is a moment, for a few seconds, actually, we have forgotten who we are. We are not aware of the surroundings. We only are totally engrossed in the form of the Lord. But then suddenly, mind comes out and then say, oh, I had a good darshan. But during the darshan, there's an experience. And I think that's what Uncle Gopalan was telling. We all have the experience, but we are not aware of it. Just the way sleep itself is an experience, but we have not even thought about that sleep. And that's why death is a welcome thing for many people. If you welcome it. Sairam, I will stop here. Anyone else would like to share anything? I don't know, Kalyana, whether your question was further complicated or answered to some extent.
Yeah, so I guess like using that example of sleep, like when you are in a deep sleep, there's no way for you to even experience that. There's no experience really. So it's only when you wake up, then you experience it. So in the same way, like if you are in that, if you're one with God, like what, there's no experience. I don't know. It's just,
Yes, there is no mental experience.
right.
There's no mental experience, but when you get up in the morning, you experienced because you are fresh, you are rested. So there is an experience, but it's not a mental experience.
In this connection, I too have a question. Yes. Now, you said the mind doesn't work. Then how do we get the dreams?
How do we get the
dreams? Dream. DREAM.
Yes, in the dream, Auntie, it's a mental experience.
Yeah, so it's a mental.
But it's not a deep sleep experience. That's what.
So the mind is working during sleep.
Yes. No, that's only during the dream. During the dream, the mind is working. But in deep sleep, that is not working, is my understanding. Others can comment on it.
But in deep sleep only, they say dreams occur. I don't know.
So, brother, isn't it? That's what that line we have discussed a while ago. Sadhaka must learn to channel along which his thoughts should run. Must first learn the channels through. So, isn't it that we have to be conscious that we are not thinking, or we have to keep not imagining God. So don't think about God from your mind. And the more we start being in a deep sleep, in the wake situation, I don't know, does it make sense? I'm mixing. So the more we start training, start thinking that way, we stop imagining God, Paramatma.
I think, sister, and the English translation, thought should run, I don't think is appropriate translation. So the Telugu, Swami said, how the mind should function, that should be first. Okay.
Okay.
He didn't mention anything about thoughts. The
Mm.
word, the terminology is used by Swami in Telugu is
Function.
చింతించవలసిన మార్గమున sorry, కాన చింతించవలసిన విధమును కూడను మొదట సాధకుడు తెలుసుకొనవలెను. So he says చింతించవలసిన విధమును. How the process of thinking should be learned.
Yes.
So, and I think we should not, I think then that's where we come into the point, where we think we should not even picture Swami's form. See, this is a thing which we all get into, but my understanding, it is not that. It is not that you should not picture the form of the Lord as you know it in the physical sense. But I think the mind should know that is not the full picture. Is my understanding. Okay.
Just a quick question. It's not something with this related to this. I am feeling like in every chapter, somewhere along the line, Swami is addressing about mind. He's keep repeating the same thing, but in a different way. Is it because Arjun didn't get it? Like Arjun is representing as a human being, I'm thinking. He's not getting it because he is telling in a different ways about mind. And he's keep reminding him who you are. So it looks like it's the same stuff, but in a different angles, he's covering it.
Yeah, I think, we should not feel too bad because Arjuna was like us also.
Feel good about it then.
Yeah, he was the representative of all the entire mankind. So I'm sure he asked the questions which all of us may have.
Yeah, true.
So I think the mind is, yes,
Uncle, but Valasina, what does that mean?
Chinta Valasina means the way, there's no proper translation.
The way of thinking?
Yes, Valasina means how it should be think, how.
Modalities of thinking, na?
இல்ல சிந்திஞ்ச வலசின எப்படி திங்க வேணுமோ சிந்திக்க வேண்டிய விதம் தெரிய வேண்டும்.
The way you should. Like
exactly. The way you should think. Chintincha valasina means the way you should think should be known. In Tamil we'll say சிந்திக்க வேண்டிய விதத்தை முதல் அறிய வேண்டும்.
அறிய வேணும்.
அதுதான் translation in Tamil. Actually, it's easier to translate in Tamil than in English.
Yeah.
சிந்திக்க வேண்டிய மார்க்கத்தை
அறிய வேணும்.
முதல் அறியவன் முதட்ட சாதகுடு தெரிசிக்கொண்டவர். முதலில் அவன் எவ்வாறு சிந்திக்க வேண்டும் என்பதை தெரிய வேண்டும். இதுதான் translation.
I think that is true in everyday life also. How to think is very important than what to think.
Yes, auntie. See, then I think Swami has already spoken about dhyana yoga. How the mind should only dwell on the Lord, the form of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord, the leelas of the Lord. The mind can think. It should not be externally focused. So that way the mind is kept occupied. The name and the form of the Lord. See, actually, Swami is telling all this to impress on us Sakara, why it is important. Without Sakara, everyone will struggle what to do with the mind. See, that's why Swami took this to explain to us properly. Nirakara is very, very difficult for most of us because we don't know what to do with the mind. And I think that's the point.
Yeah, the mind is fleeting. So so much to control the mind is not easy. I'm 92 years old and I'm trying to control my mind, and I find it really, really difficult. You sit to meditate and your mind is going somewhere else. The mind is very difficult to control.
Auntie, if you say that, it's very depressing for all young people. You know how long that we may not even reach until then, even though
No,
you.
that is why we need the tool like meditation and all.
Yes.
When you meditate, really, the mind, we are able to control the mind to a certain extent. I have done the meditation for the last 50 years, and I know now how to control the mind.
Sairam.
Yes, uncle.
Swami says you cannot control the mind. Ignore the mind, he says. Just put it aside. The mind will do whatever it has, it will do. Yes. But ignore the mind.
Worse.
Nobody can control the mind.
Monkey mind.
How to ignore then? What's the process of ignoring it?
Namasmaran.
How to do that? I like to know that because the mind is a big nuisance.
Yes, we got so many things Swami has said. Namasmaran, Seva, keep yourself busy. You know, it's like you know the old story where some Rakshasa wanted to go to heaven, and so he was given a boon to go up and down a pole. That old story where as long as he goes up and down the pole, he's not thinking about anything else. So
that's why Swami says Namasmaran, it's important. Kali Yuga.
So that means you have to occupy yourself.
It was something else, taking away the mind from.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Very true.
Swami also gives another example. He says an elephant, when it goes into the marketplace, its trunk will go here, there, everywhere. So the mahout gives it a stick pole. So it just it will hold on to that stick, and it will forget that it can, because it already has something in the trunk. The elephant will walk without disturbing anything along a busy thoroughfare. So the same way Swami says the mind should be given the name, and it will just hold on to it, or it will jump up and down, as uncle said, Ekku diganna, digu diganna, Swami would say, like the monkey, which.
Yeah, monkey's mind is like the mind. Like a monkey going from tree to tree, our mind is a fleeting thing.
Okay, is everyone okay? We can move on, or
Yes, the seventh is Aditya Varnam, with the splendor of the sun as his complexion. This means he is self-effulgent as the sun. He is independent. He is the source of the light he shines with. He is the effulgence of the sun. He makes the sun shine. So he is named Aditya. I shall tell you about the eighth two straight away. Tamasa Parastat, beyond darkness. He is the witness of darkness, or Ajnana. For Para means witness, one of unaffected. No darkness is as dark as Ajnana. It is so deep and so dangerous. Maya is another word for this Ajnana. And so Tamasa Parastat means beyond Maya. Arjuna, just close your eyes for a moment. What is it that you experience? Complete darkness, is it not? How did you know that it is dark? You cannot see darkness. Then how did you announce that there was darkness there? There are two entities there, darkness and he who sees the darkness. Is it not so? If you are yourself darkness, how can you see the darkness? No, you are the seer, and so you are not darkness. Darkness is that which is seen. The seer is you. You are the witness. Now consider another fact. Man very often condemns himself as an ignoramus. But if he really were an ignoramus or a fool, how is he able to recognize his own ignorance? From where did he get that knowledge? When did that jnana enter him? And how? Ajnana is the seen. Jnana is the seer. You are the drik, seer, which sees the drishya, or ajnana, ignorance. In the same way, all the 8 descriptions above have to be contemplated upon. That is the correct meditation of the form of the Lord.
Very nice, very nice, very good. Fear and the darkness.
The Swami has covered both Aditya Varnam and Tamasa Parastat. I'll begin from the Upanishad straight. Anyone would like to maybe I'll quickly read the Telugu, I think. Arjuna, Aditya Varnam anaga Suryuni vale Swayam Prakashakudu Bhagavantudani Arthamu. Arjuna, Aditya Varnam means who is self-effulgent like the sun, that is the Lord, Bhagavan, that is the meaning. Ante kadu, not only that. Suryani Prakashamu Kudanu Paramatmude. Even the effulgence of the sun is also Paramatma. Lokamunu Prakashimpa Jayivadu Suryudaite. In this world, if the sun is the one who makes everything effulgent, Suryani Kuda Prakashimpa Cheyuvadu Bhagavantudu Kanuka Ataniki Adityudani Peru Vachinati. So Swami is telling, if the world is just the way the world is made bright by the sun, it is the Lord who makes the sun bright. And because of that, he is given the name Aditya. Ika enimidava daniki kudanu telipadanu vinumu. Now I will also explain to the 8th one also. Listen. Tamasu parudu, beyond darkness. Tamasu anaga ajnanamu. Tamas means ajnana or ignorance. Parudu anaga sakshi. Para means one who is a witness. Ajnanamunaku sakshi ani arthamu. That means he is the witness of ignorance. Baba, Maya annanu, ajnanamannanu okate kanuka. Brother-in-law, Maya means ajnana or ignorance. They are both one. Atti Mayaku atitamainavadu Paramatmadu anikudanu talanchavaranu. So the Paramatma is beyond this Maya also. That also has to be understood. So that Bhava Okasari Kannulu Musukoni Chudu. Brother-in-law, just close your eyes and look. Emunnado Teliyagaladu. You can see what is there. Kannulu Musukanna Emunnadi. If you close your eyes, what is there? Anta okay chikati. Avana kada. everything is darkness, isn't it so? చీకటి నీకెట్లు తెలిసినది? How did you know that there is darkness? తెలియకున్నా చీకటి అని ఎట్లు తలంచుచున్నావు? If you cannot see, how did you know that it was darkness? అక్కడ చీకటి ఒకటి, చూచుట మరొకటి. ఈ రెండు విషయములను పరిశీలించేదము. So there is one is darkness, seeing is the second one. We should examine both these. నీవే చీకటి అయినా నీవు ఎట్లు చూడగలవు? If you are darkness, how can you see? నీవు చూచినవు కనుక నీవు చీకటి కాదు. Because you are able to see the darkness, you are not darkness. చీకటిని చూచినట్టు సాక్షివి. You are the witness which saw the darkness. బావా, మరొకటి యోచించుకో. Brother-in-law, also think about one more thing. మానవుడు ఒక్కొక్క సమయమున నేను అజ్ఞానిని, నాకేమీ తెలియదు అని తనను తాను నిందించుకుంటూ ఉంటాడు. Man sometimes, once in a while, he thinks, I am an ignorant fellow, I don't know anything. He will self-deprecate himself once in a while. నిజముగా వాడు అజ్ఞానియే అయి ఉండిన నేను అజ్ఞాని అని తెలుసుకోను జ్ఞానము ఎక్కడ నుండి వచ్చినది? If he is really ignorant and he doesn't know anything, how did he come to know that he is ignorant? From where did that intelligence come? ఎట్లు వచ్చినది? How did it come? అజ్ఞానము దృశ్యము. Ignorance is what is seen. జ్ఞానము దృక్కు. జ్ఞాన means one who sees. అజ్ఞానము చూచే సాక్షివే నీవు కాని అజ్ఞానము నీవు కాదు. You are the witness which sees, observes the ignorance, but you are not ignorance. ఇదే విధముగా పై చెప్పిన 8 వర్ణములను ఎవరు చింతించురో అది సరి అయిన స్వరూప చింతన. So just thinking about the 8 points which have been stated, that is the right approach of the mind being occupied. Bhava ani Paramatma bodhinchaga vinnina Arjunudu Krishna. Okay, I think I'll stop there. So Swami is telling that thinking about these 8 aspects with our mind is the right thing to do. See, that's in the same way, all the 8 descriptions above have to be contemplated upon. That is the correct meditation of the form of the Lord. So I think Swami has answered Sakwanti's question. What should we do with our mind? We should think about all these 8 things again and again with our mind. So I'll stop here. If anyone would like to say something, share something.
Spyram, the effulgence and the darkness are the 2 sides of one coin. The way we look at it, it could be effulgent or it could be darkness. Swami has already nicely explained we are not darkness, Yiridi. We are bright, but how we see it, we interpret as darkness or effulgent. And also that's the part, if we discuss a little more, that would be very appreciated. And I also noticed Swami is telling, or the Lord Krishna telling several times, brother-in-law, brother-in-law. I learned from the previous chapters that at one point Lord Krishna said to Arjuna that the Arjuna surrendered as his guru, and then only he started started giving out the great Bhagavad Gita or the Upadesh. And suddenly, almost we are at the end, and Sivani nicely asked previously, the Archana couldn't be able to grasp, how the mind works and everything. So maybe Lord Krishna started explaining in many different ways. Okay, this is the way he said. Arjuna said, no, I don't understand. Then in another way, I don't understand. And suddenly, Swami is telling that the brother-in-law, listen, this one, maybe that sort of relationship, maybe someone can understand easily, or we're coming to the very, the very layman level, maybe at the very worldly level, the Swami has come down, or the Lord Krishna has come down to explain. At least you understand right now, we are running out of time, and this is the final statement, kind of. Maybe I thought that is very interesting. In these three passages, Swami said so many times, the Lord Krishna said so many times, brother-in-law, listen, listen, listen. Here it is. Even though Arjuna treated Lord Krishna as his Lord or Guru, in the previous passages, Lord, 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 suddenly, and coming into that worldly level, brother-in-law, I thought something very interesting along that conversation.
The sister, I will just to put in some context. The usage Baba is brother-in-law because in English they don't have a equivalent expression. In all Indian languages they will say Machan. Just which actually shows. See, Krishna started calling him with the word Baba even before Arjuna was married to his sister. So that's the way the friends used to address each other. So this Bhava actually shows the closeness, the sneha, that Sakya Bhava, friend, just like two friends calling each other, oh Machan, even though they are
Yeah.
not brother in English, if you translate, that's the way I can translate, but it is not so, it is not, oh, you are my sister's husband. No, it is not in that sense, is my understanding, sister.
True.
Okay,
It's
thank you,
interesting that
brother.
Arjuna doesn't call him Bhava though.
He used to call him Baba, but in this Bhagavad Gita, he's not calling him Baba because he is showing some respect. Whereas Krishna is maintaining the old relationship, friendliness. So I think everyone has, tamas of parastat. So only in the stage of tamas, there will be discussion.
Uncle,
Good to know.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think we are quiet because it's such a great news that we are not darkness. It's such a great news, enlightenment actually for me.
So in Achintya Rupam state, sister.
Absolutely.
Yes, Kalyani.
That first sentence about, so I'm saying Aditya Varnam means who is self-effulgent like the sun. Not only that, even the effulgence is also Paramatma. So I'm saying the sun is Paramatma and the effulgence of the sun is Paramatma. Is that like kind of like the sun is like the Swarupa and the effulgence is the Swabhava?
I think that's same. Swarupa and Swabhava is.
What is Aditya? Does it have another meaning?
So see if you in the word how it has come out is there were two sisters called Aditi and Diti. Okay, the children of Aditi are all Adityas. If you want to just know the etymology, but I think Swami is also using it as Adi. That's a source also. Source of all effulgence is the way Swami is. That way also he is using it because he is the one who has given light even to the sun. So that means he is the origin or the source. I think that sense also Swami has used is the way I understand. I will stop here. Anyone else would like to share any thought? Please do so.
What does Diti mean? Diti.
Dithi's children are all Daityas.
Does it have a meaning, that word itself? Diti?
I don't know it offhand.
That's okay.
It needs some research. I will do so and come back next week.
Thank you.
Unless somebody else has something to share.
Sairam.
Sairam uncle, please go ahead.
We missed the previous sessions. We just attended. This is the first session. So the 8 items that Swami mentioned. What are the 8 items? If it's possible to tell, or is it we are?
Yes. No, it's okay, auntie. It's as Swami has said in the last one. We had to think about all the 8 descriptions. So I think I will pose the question. I think others can share rather than me saying. We'll start from Kavi. Who wants to go? The 8 descriptions. I think it's you can say the name and just give a short description if it's possible.
Sure, uncle, I can start. Kavi. Kavi is poet, and Swami describes Kavi as somebody who can see the past, present, and the future.
Okay, thank you very much. Kavi, the Lord who can see past, present, and future. And I think he also says the entire creation is his poetry. Also, he said, thank you. Next one, please. Anyone who would like to?
Second one is Purana. In that, as second one, Swami explained, Lord is the most ancient one, and also Lord is modern as well as ancient, and he is eternal. It is beyond the beginning of everything, and also it moves every little moment. That's why it carries both the modern and the ancient part in it. That's what I remember about the Purana.
Thank you very much, Auntie. So, Pura Navamiti, that's what Swami has said. That one which is old, ancient, and also new. It's always new, and it's always more new than the old, and it's the most ancient. Thank you very much. So that's a Purana, Kavi Purana. The next one, please. Anyone?
Ramana, Anushashita, where he is the one who lays down all the rules and regulations that need to be followed upon.
Thank you very much. Yeah, which is what actually Kalyani had asked, where Swami is saying he, as an indweller, he establishes laws which are he looks at, considers the mind, and from as an antaryami, he lays down the laws, not only the external laws.
Anna, in that context, I think I was just going to say that I think the outside thing, it pertains to like the Bhutakasha, but the inner one will be about the Chittakasha and the Chidakasha aspect. So I think that's where it comes at the realm of the mind. So just adding to what you were saying.
Thank you. Thank you. So fourth one, please.
Is it that? Sorry. Go ahead.
Sairam, brother. Anoranian, smallest to the smallest. The Lord is smallest to the smallest. And above that, thank you.
The Lord is the smallest of the small. Swami went on to explain subtleness of it. The God is the subtlest. If you think something is subtle, he's subtler than that. And that's it for meaning also Swami has given. Thank you very much, brother. Fifth one. Anyone?
Sarvadara. And he's the Adara for everything.
Thank you. The anti-creation is the thing which is dependent on Adeya, Swami was going to say, but he's the one which is unseen support of everything in this world. Thank you, brother.
Sai Ram, I don't know.
Yes, Auntie.
Sarvadhara is two kinds, right? Adhara is one, Adeya one. The two.
Yes, Swami basically said Adeya is all that is which is dependent on Adhara. And I think we discussed, Auntie, that the entire creation is Adeya, the creator is the Adhara or something like that. So it may be wrong if I yes.
Uh-huh.
Sarva Adhara means he is the support for everything in this world. I think that's the way. So the next sixth one.
Achintaya. That is what created all the problems.
Achintya Rupa. Yeah, you cannot even imagine.
Thank you.
Can we say about the seer and the seen?
Yes, Auntie.
Yes. If there's darkness, when we close our eyes, there's darkness. But how did you know that there's darkness? Is asking. So that means I know that there is darkness. So who is that I? I is the seer. And darkness is darkness. So there is, so how did you see the darkness? Because Bhagavan made you to see. So seer and the seen is capable because of the Almighty Divine. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Maybe that is not coming under the eighth one. Eh?
Oh, that's coming under the
Tamasa Prasad.
The eighth one.
Parasad.
Parasad.
Tamasa.
Oh, that's coming under the eighth? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Seventh is Aditya Varnam. Eighth one is Tamas of Parastat, who is beyond darkness, who is the witness. That's the way Swami has explained.
Yeah.
It's a witness.
So what is the seventh one?
Seventh one is Aditya Varnam. He is effulgent like the sun.
Effulgent like the
Sun.
sun.
Sun. Aditya.
Which means it's brightness or what
Yes.
is the meaning of effulgent?
Effulgent light.
Effervescence or light. I thought it's effulgent.
That the light comes from within. Actually, I think that's why when the light comes from within us, that is what, with the help of that one, we are even able to see the darkness. Because it doesn't need any external light. It's an internal light.
Is it the aura?
No.
No, Auntie. Aura is also coming out from somewhere.
But in normal life, if we have to see from our eyes, it has to come from the outside eye. It has to go into our eyes. Then the eye, there's a visual object. Then that is translated by the brain power to tell us that we are seeing an object. But actually, we are not seeing the real object. We are seeing the image of our object in our retina. So does it mean that? So that we speak of seeing by without, not from the outside. I don't know. I like to clarify that.
So, see, Swami has explained this. Swami says the dead person's eye also is there. The optic nerves will be there. The brain is there. But if the light reflects on that eye also, just like anyone who's living, the dead person will not be able to perceive, because the power which was able to see the light itself, which was
Yeah,
within us, that is gone.
that is
That is the inner light. Because without that inner light, even if the external light is there, which is inert, we will not be able to perceive. I think that's something which Swami has explained. But the thing is, we don't understand the internal workings of what is really perceiving. So we only study the external thing and say, oh, this light is just reflected on. But the thing is, without the inner light, we will not be able to make sense of anything which falls on the eye also. I think that's what Swami has said. But I think we ignore this whole, all this eight is just to understand what makes us see. Is the external light which makes us see, or which is the internal light which makes us see? The reality is there are animals which don't need light to see anything. Nocturnal animals also, they are able to see without the help of light. They also have some inner light which helps them see. So I think that's my understanding.
but they say, according to my understanding, that animals don't have consciousness. So the inner, what we perceive as Atma, is really the conscious thinking. So I don't know how in hours and those who can see in the night time, they must be having a different mechanism. That is what I am thinking, Sairam.
Auntie, this was covered a little earlier in one of the earlier chapters. Swami says, even inanimate objects has chaitanyam within them, but it is just that they cannot express it, just the way human beings express it. But
Okay.
so
Okay.
it is present in everything in this creation, because God is everything. But it is just that they are not manifest. Is something which we discussed some time back.
Yeah, okay.
God for that.
Thank you.
Brother Dasan, please go.
Sairam, brother. Another thing here, the Swami's mentioning of the darkness is a Maya. So that's what Lord Krishna asking Arjuna, close the eye, what you can see, dark. But we have never seen the dark. So how we can see the dark? Because not seen. So whatever we see in the Dvaitva state is all dark. So whatever you mentioned, when we get the divine light, then we'll see the Advaitva, the reality. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother.
That's good.
Sister Anandi.
Yeah. Sairam, brother, I thought the aura is the reflection of the inner light. Um, I don't know whether I got it wrong, but you mentioned that it comes from outside. You know, it's externally it's coming. So
No, sorry, sister. Sorry, maybe I'm wrong. The thing is, I said it comes from within. So the source is what we are referring to, is what I said. I think Auntie said aura. Is it aura? That was the question she asked.
Yeah, the effulgence.
Yes, the effulgence. What I was saying. Yes, it is from internal light. When it manifests outside, it's seen as aura by people.
Baba has shown that aura, right?
Yes, Auntie. So that is manifestation of the inner effulgence. So what I said was, aura is only an external manifestation of the light which is within.
okay, thank you so much, brother. Now I am very clear. Thank you.
I think it's 3:35. We went past. I think we have homework, how to practice meditating on the 8 aspects. Now that we have revised also the 8, thanks to Gopal and Uncle. So we can at least, we should become very, very familiar. Every day we should think about these 8 aspects. That's what Swami says. As the form of the Lord, we should contemplate on them.
I don't know. Can
Yes.
you please repeat that again? Because I couldn't understand. I just kept quiet.
Which one, Auntie?
The eighth one. what Gopal uncle said about.
No, Gopal and uncle asked to list the 8, which is basically Kavi, Purana, and
Yeah,
Anushastra.
yeah.
So we listed all 8 of them. Which one you want to go through, Auntie?
Eighth one.
8th one is Tamas of Parastat.
Yeah, when you're meditating, what should you do? Practice this.
The Lord is beyond darkness.
Yeah.
And He is within us and making us see the darkness also as dark.
Yeah.
And become aware. That's my understanding, Auntie. But maybe we will at the next class we will revise all this 8 and then we will move on.
I'm sorry.
No problem, Auntie. No problem. I hope we will close today and we will again start off revising all the 8. So everyone can share your contemplation and meditation on each of them at the next session. Okay. We will close with Samastaloka and Shanti. Saira. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sairam. Sai.